Hey everyone, it is Dave. Welcome in. We're going to be covering Module 12 in this video. Module 12 has 3 lectures in it. They are all very short. We're going to have Futurism, which brings us into the very first World War. We're going to have Data, which brings us out of the very first World War. And then we're going to deal with Surrealism. And Surrealism is really cool because instead of lasting only about 5 or 10 years like most of these art movements we've covered, Surrealism lasts about 30 years, so a tremendous amount of time, and it's really kind of a very cool art movement. This week we also have a discussion board on Futurism. We also have a journal on Futurism. I'm going to have you read the Futurist Manifesto, which is just amazing. You should probably read it twice, and it is a little bit out there, which always makes it fun to read. So with that, let me take you over to the Canvas site. I'll show you where everything is. All right, here we are on the Canvas site. This week is Module 12. We have the usual suspects up above. We've got our video that you're watching right now, our introduction, my usual office hours, 4:30 to 7 p.m., but I do have one last time, some specific office hours for Chaffey, and they are 4:30 to 5 p.m. on Monday only. But the other office hours, Monday and Wednesday, 4:30 to 7 p.m. Futurism, I've got the lecture, the study guide, and the further exploration section. Now there is a short reading, but then we have the Futurist Manifesto. Now you can either read it yourself. It's about 4 or 5 pages long. You can have it read to you. It takes about 16-17 minutes for that video. I do normally suggest reading it twice. As I kind of mentioned, the first time you're going to be like, what is this about? And the second time you're going to be like, these people are really weird. They have some strange ideas. So it's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite art historical readings. And then also another video that shows you that futurism isn't just about art, but really all different aspects of life. Now, that is going to lead us into the very first World War, and one of the reasons futurism ends so abruptly is that all of these artists go off to war, and unfortunately, many of them are killed. Dada brings us out of World War I, and this is a very odd art movement. It really questions the idea of beauty in art, and it also questions the idea of conceptual art, meaning that the idea is more important than the physical artwork. So we've got our lecture, our study guide, and in the further exploration section, besides this optional reading here, I actually don't suggest reading it. I think the Dada Manifesto is a very tough read. It is actually quite quick, but by the end of the story, you get the response, Dada means nothing. And that is truly what it does. But this is the work that really makes conceptual art prominent in the history of art. What it does is it opens up the floodgates for more contemporary artworks that we deal with today. And this is about 100 years ago now. So Duchamp's fountain is basically a urinal, and he puts it into a exhibition as a sculpture. So you can hear all about the story in that video, but I will guarantee you that is one of the final exam images and questions. For Surrealism, I've got the lecture here. It is not by me. It is by another person. It's a fantastic lecture, so there's no reason for me to redo one when there's something that's actually as perfect as that is. The study guide, and then for the further exploration, there's just one more video on the persistence of memory, the most famous surrealist artwork. There are 2 things to do this week. The journal, and we're getting close, we only have one more journal after this, is your response to the Futurist Manifesto. So make sure you've read it, make sure you give a response to it, and I'm looking specifically for you to comment on the material. I don't need you to tell me what the Futurist Manifesto is. I already know what it is. I just want your response back from it. And then the only other thing we have, and this is the final project we have for the semester, which is a discussion board on futurism. Once again, make sure you've read the Futurist Manifesto. And the official name of it is the Founding and Manifesto of Futurism, but we all just call it the Futurist Manifesto. The work is this here, the artwork. It's called Visual Synthesis of the Idea, War, and it's painted by Gino Severini in the very first year of World War I. So take a moment, kind of look at the painting, think about all the objects that are there, and what I want you to do is comment on how many objects that you see. I literally want you to list the objects and symbols that you see. Then I want you to answer the question, what does the title of the artwork mean? Again, the title is right here. And then finally, why do you think that the artist left out human presence? It's all machine and man-made objects, but no people. Final thing you need to do, post a response to another group member. You can agree or disagree or say, hey, I didn't even think about that for that answer. Totally okay. You will not see what any other group member has posted until you post your own. And of course, all the rules of netiquette apply. The breakdown is just 5 points per the observations, the 2 questions, and then for a response. It does need to be completed by the 24th as far as the post goes. Reply by December the 1st, and that is all you have to do. And I think that is everything for this module. I will be back shortly to tell you about Module 13, and then Module 14 has the final exam, and that's where you're going to turn in your journals. So we're almost done, and I will see you shortly with Module 13.